Hi, welcome to my Lifestyle Chav Chat channel. This is part 5 of why singing didn't happen and what did happen. So I hope my microphone is on properly, because my microphone on my phone is a bit dodgy at the moment and I'm a bit bunged up at the moment. But number 5, why singing didn't happen and what did actually happen. How to not make it in the music industry. So I more or less concluded in my last video, but there are just a few things that I wanted to, a few extraneous circumstances, factors that I wanted to mention that I didn't mention. So, well, I'm talking about factors. The X Factor was one factor. I did go on the X Factor. I did go on an audition for the X Factor, but I had to audition outside. I sang "Ain't No Sunshine When He's Gone." I sang that song, but Simon Cowell didn't give me that ticket. No. And yeah, I was talking about this Y guy dude and how we were doing some stuff, how he was just being the way he was. Another thing, he always used to say to me, "Marcia, like, you don't when I'm with my friends, like, you don't talk to my friends." How do I say this? Make out that I was just this frigid bitch who didn't want to talk to his friends or who didn't want to talk to anybody. But this wasn't the case. A lot of his friends were like people that he knew. They were all like Europeans, like from Germany, Bulgaria, Poland, and Italy, some of them. And you know, I didn't really exactly find them very warm and cordial towards myself, really. I'm a very warm, cordial person, but I don't need to overextend myself to absolutely everybody and strangers. But yeah, that's one thing I was used to saying. Sometimes I just used to feel with him, in terms of music, as I said, a lot of these people that I've met, I just felt like they was all just trying, instead of just taking my ideas on board and you know, hearing me out, hearing my music, they're just more acting like they're just like trying to educate me. And he was always one to say, "Oh, you don't talk to people, you don't talk to anyone, this and that." And with him, I did used to feel sometimes with my music that he was, and live performance, it was almost like he was trying to instill in me that, you know, I need to like let loose and let my hair down, and I need to learn how to crack some jokes and talk to the audience. I think that's one thing he used to say. "Oh, you gotta like talk to the audience," you know. Just as I said, just basically not accepting me for who I am, but trying to like lay down the law and make out that, I don't know, he knows more than me. You know, that's how I was finding him to be. And maybe it's just a style thing, like a style issue, because I do remember going to some gigs, a particular gig at the Hare and Hounds, or no, it wasn't the Hare and Hounds, it was in not Digbeth, in Moseley. I think it was at the Crofts in Moseley, and there were some singers performing there with their band, and they just back to back, you know, they just sang their songs like boom, 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 song after song after song after song. There was none of this like larking about in between each song and cracking jokes and talking to the audience and all this palaver. And I'd say to him, you know, this is more my style. You know, I just want to sing, do my songs, do what I got to do, and then fuck off the stage, you know. But my point was that, you know, I don't know why he just was trying to bring out the comedian in me or something, and I'm not really a comedian, you know, and I wasn't approaching him or these people to do comedy. I was approaching him to do music. But, you know, I think he just had this idea in his mind that, I don't know, I think he just was just his sense of humour, the way he was, just trying to turn me into like a comedy show. You know, just being undermining, really. But as I said, sometimes, you know, you're going through things and you don't really, I wasn't really paying attention, you know, at the time. You know, you don't really realise how people are behaving towards you until afterwards, you know. But it wasn't even that I wasn't paying attention, I just wasn't, because said, you know, I had other things going on in my brain than this guy and his idiocy. You know, I wasn't paying heed to it. But yeah. So that was another factor I kept finding with him. Yeah, he was just trying to make out like, oh, if I'm going to be on stage, you know, I need to ice break with the audience and warm up to the audience, and they need to warm up to you, and you need to go on there like cracking some jokes and talking to them in between songs and this and that. So maybe I think that's what he was probably experiencing and going through. So he was doing this projection thing onto me. I don't know. But yeah, things like this I was experiencing. Then I was talking about my brother and his girlfriend, his missus. I've got to go and collect. Oh, I've got to go. I'll have to. So, for example, another time we did an amazing gig. I filmed it. My voice was amazing. The music was really good. But things like this would occur where, for example, I asked my brother's girlfriend to film the event, and she filmed. We'd done, I think, a set of 3 or 4 songs, and she caught the first song, but she didn't get all 3 songs. She didn't film all 3 of them. And I don't know, she must have had some excuse that the battery went or some random excuse. But again, I just found like my brother and his missus, they just like weren't just like was taking a piss. So for example, I remember before going on the set, I was pretty nervous, I was in the bathroom, and like right now I've got mucus issues because I suffer from allergies. So I remember going in the bathroom, literally like blowing my nose, making sure that there's no like buggers up my nose. I'd done a proper big clear out of my nose, okay, and then they both were taking all these photos of us on stage and after the event. And then I saw, and they kept giggling, they kept having all this like giggling, like laughing and joking and piss-arsing about. I was thinking, what's the joke? And when I got home and I saw the photos, I noticed some of them had like massive close-ups of my nose like this, you know. And in one of the photos, I'm on stage with my microphone singing or whatever, and there's just like one bugger hanging out my nose like this. And just, this is what I'm talking about, stupid things like this would occur. Like, the songs are good, we had an amazing set, my voice was fantastic, you know, but we didn't get the recording. We got a recording of like 1 song out of 3 or 4 songs we done, but all we had were all these pathetic pictures of all of us outside after the set, and pictures of me with like my nose like this, so close up to the camera, or one photo of like me with like one bugger hanging out my nose. Just like pathetic things like this is what was going. That's what kept occurring. Pathetic things like this. I'll just put it down to, I just think the devil I just think it was Satan. I just think it was the devil. He just had some issue. He was really trying everything to just make me stop producing my music, because he knew how damn good my music was, and he just didn't want it to happen. So I was just around these clowns, just taking the mick, you know. So that was another factor. But leading on from that to my next point, that was part of the point as well, that I think I just started to gradually come to that conclusion that I think I just need to be around like more mature audience and more mature musicians and people who understand a more mature sound. But in saying that, this Jamaican guy who I have to continue when I get home. I'm going to have to end this live here and continue to come to that conclusion also, that I think I was around people who were just not understanding and maturity level of my sound, and I think I just started thinking and feeling like I need to meet more mature musicians, people who understand the kind of, because my sound is more like jazz, neo soul, funk, and for that the reggae guy, the drummer who he played for Maxi Priest. I think maybe he understood this, and because he like rehearsed with other like bands, other reggae bands, because he was very much into his reggae. And he said to me once, why don't you come, you know, and just rehearse with us, and they can hear your songs and your voice and your music, and maybe do a bit of backing vocals or a bit of lyrics and stuff with them. Now the thing is, I already knew this was not going to work. I said, you know what, I'll go along. I already knew this was not going to work because I'm Jamaican, obviously, yeah. I'm black British, yeah. My blood is Jamaican, yeah, obviously, yeah. I do not listen to reggae music. I mean, I listen to reggae music. Obviously, I know who Bob Marley is, yeah, and I like his music. Yeah. I've heard of some reggae artists, like Vibes Cartel, for example. I've heard of them. But I do not listen to reggae music on a regular basis. And the thing with reggae, you know, it's offbeat. So it's just a total different, it's slow music and it's offbeat music. And it's just not the sort of music that my ears are accustomed to. So, I mean, in terms of singing along to reggae music is what I mean. That's what I'm talking about, really. So I said, you know, I'll go along, and I think it was actually Steel Pulse. They rehearsed in a studio in Hockley, and I went along, and exactly what I thought and how I knew the night was going to go is exactly how it went. Where I'm more of like a jazz singer. My voice is more, it suits like jazz music, and I think even they recognised that. They were like, this type of sound. I think I was even singing some of my songs, and they were like, we can't really vibe with this type of, we can't really ad-lib and put something to this, because it's just, what I was doing was what I was doing, and what they were doing was what they were doing, and it's just like two totally different sounds. And hi. And that's how I knew the day was gonna go. So yeah, so that just didn't work. It just, you know, nothing became of that, which I knew nothing was gonna become of that. Yeah, so that was that. I just started to come to that conclusion. As I said how I went to the US and I came back, and I'm not going to go into that because that's not what this video is all about. So basically, when I returned, I was still with that white dude, and we actually started somehow to really get on and connect, like musically as well. We found some of the musicians, and we started saying we're going to do some covers. We decided to start working on some covers and developing this kind of like Spanish Cuban sound. And I think I just started to relax into it, like what I was saying in one of my other videos. You know, I started to get comfortable and get like relaxed. We were still having some issues of like finding some long-term musicians to work with, like, on a long-term basis. But things started to come together, and you know, we were doing some gigs around Wolverhampton. But exactly like what I was saying in one of my other videos is how this is how we would start behaving. Like, things would be going really kosher, nice, good, between us, and I'd start working on my music. My sound was vibing. You know, I was relaxing into it, getting comfortable, always performing, gigging and this and that. Some venues. and the sound was coming together, and then he just, I don't know, things were just a bit like how people have gone today, just with the behaviours. Either the musicians I was working with would just start behaving bizarre, or he would just start behaving bizarre, and that's literally what happened. Yet again, he just started to do his disappearing act. Things would be coming together, and then he'd just start doing his disappearing act. And that's what happened. And then he started venturing off with like this other new set of musicians. This African dude with his I don't know, it was like this calypso sound, Sonagee's music. Yeah, that was it. Or the Sonagee's type of music. And getting in a strut because I ended up not turning up to one of his gigs with this Sonagee's dude. And bringing this Sonagee's dude round to my house, and then he'd be sitting there with this Sonagee's dude all talking in Spanish. And then I only know like a little bit of Spanish, so then I'd be trying to like chirp in and have conversation in Spanish with them as well. But this is what I meant, how he just was always just over. He always had to be bringing in some like new challenge. And so like the challenge now was, oh, do you know how to speak another language? Can you speak Spanish though? This was like the latest challenge. It's like I was just always being unnecessarily, irrelevantly challenged. Just challenged like with irrelevance. Like, oh, you don't talk enough, or you don't know how to crack jokes, or you don't know how to speak like another language. You know, I already know myself, I don't play an instrument, but as far as I'm concerned, if you can sing, you know, and you know how to write, you don't necessarily need to play another instrument. Michael Jackson is the most famous, most top pop music artist. I never saw him once in any of his performances play an instrument. I never saw him in one of his concerts sit down to start playing the drums or start playing his guitar, because everything, he put all his music compositions together from his voice, from his vocals, and from the music and the sound that he could hear in his head, you know. And even with the rhythm, you know, he'd beatbox and he felt the rhythm, you know, and he'd tap out the rhythm to his music producers. So this is what I mean about music and elitism. You know, I was just being like unnecessarily challenged with irrelevance. You know, that's what was going on. Lo and behold, another scenario I want to talk about is meeting Max Campbell, Ali Campbell's son. So he actually dated my sister. My sister dated him for a number of years. And I think I actually met him before he met my sister, or my sister met him. But I didn't know, obviously, the way I met him, I was near Coventry, and I was standing outside waiting for a taxi or something. He was there as well, and we just started talking. He had on this t-shirt, and I think he was talking about going along to, I think he was working for one of these, yeah, he was doing like all the background maintenance, you know, of the equipment, this type of thing, I think, for some festival or some place he was going, and he had on the t-shirt, and that's how I think we started talking about music. But I didn't even know that who I was talking to was Max Campbell. Yeah, and this happened before my sister started dating Max Campbell, Ali Campbell's son. Here's another one. I think I'll let him listen to the demo recordings that I had. And the thing he said was, oh, why don't you go to like Tower Records? That was his suggestion. Why don't you go to somewhere like Tower Records and, you know, produce your music with them? So I just kind of thought, oh, Tower Records, alright, well, yeah, I'll probably do that, you know, but I don't know, just nothing. After a while, you know, the thing is, when you're pursuing creative careers, you have to go all in. You have to be giving it your 1000%. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, if you're not going all in, then life just, and other things is taking over, you know, because you're thinking about other things. You need to work, you're studying, you're working, you've got your bills to pay, you've got a roof to keep over your head, you've got a relationship, you know, and you're thinking about 10,000 other things, and this is what was going on, you know. So this is what I mean. I wasn't going in 1,000%, you know, and that's what happened eventually. Other things just started to become more of a priority than my music, and you know, obviously a lot of changes was occurring as well. Like, social media now has become so prolific, and music itself, the music industry is very there's only a select certain number of people who actually obviously make it in the industry and get contracts, you know, and the best people are either creating their own music publishing companies, or creating their own music labels, or uploading songs to all these online websites, and seeking out royalties, you know, from you know, money is not being made as much as it was. The music industry has just changed altogether. So, you know, this is obviously, you know, I was becoming more aware of that as well. The music industry is just not the same. Like nothing's the same, you know, as it was. But this year, where I was saying me and that Y dude, we started to actually come together and started actually Game X Michael, hello. We started to make a lot of like nice cover songs, like get our sound together. It's like Cuban sound. It was coming up with this Cuban like house funk Cuban type sound, house dance classic Cuban type sound. Yeah, this year, it was like every single person in music decided to die. It was just the most bizarrest. Not only that, in my own personal life, there just was like a lot of like morbid things happening. It was like 2016. Yeah. I remember, I think at the start of the year, 2016, there was something happened with the Russian Philharmonic, or one of these top like orchestral groups, or something like this. All the band members, all the marching band musicians. So what is it, like something like 500 of them died? They all drowned. The Russian band members, or something like this. It was on the news. That was like at the start of the year. 2016, it was like every single month, somebody, some top famous legend person in music died. It was like January, it was like the Russian band members died, and some famous music producer for movies and film passed away. And the following month, somebody very similar in the film and music industry passed away. Some film music composer. Following month, I don't know, some famous legend passed away. The month after that, it was like Prince passed away. Music legend Prince. You know, then it was like someone in Led Zeppelin passed away. The month after that, some other like rock legend passed away. Then the month after that, it was like, what's his name? Chesley Handler. What's his name? And the other one from Slipknot. They were like, oh, committed suicide. And next month, somebody else committed suicide. And the month after that, some of the top famous person passed away in music. The whole year was like this. It was just a crazy, crazy year for music. And to top it all off, the grand scenario, the very end of the year, Christmas time, George Michael passed away. And, you know, Christmas time. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it all. It was just the most freakiest, bizarrest, most morbidest year for music. And it was just ironic that this was the year that, with myself, music just started to actually, the way I wanted it to go was actually going. It was finally going in my favour. It was just like bizarre. So that's what I'm saying. skies, and in video 1, part 2, that I don't know what it was that was going on, but something, as far as I'm concerned, in the sky or in the clouds or deep down in the nether regions of the earth or something, just did not want this thing to happen. I can't explain it. This is what it was like. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm doing this live TikTok. I'm a tarot reader, by the way, and also I'm a life coach. If you'd like to book a life coach session with me, then just send me a DM. I'm going to upload this video to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to leave my email in the description if you would like to book a life coach session with me. I'm a qualified life coach, and I'm very like multi-dimensional person. I understand.
There's nothing really to do.
I have an expanded multi-dimensional awareness about life experience. Yeah. So if you have any if you're mulling with something in your life, you want to really seek out deep-rooted answers to. I do Kabbalah readings. I do Celtic cross readings. I do past, present, future readings. Okay. I incorporate numerology with my readings. Find out your birth path number and all of this. We can do a birth path chart. All of this. I have high knowledge and awareness about deep things of the spirit and of the soul. And not only that, I've had multiple life experience, as I said. So, if you'd like to book a life coach session with me, I'm going to leave my email in the description of my YouTube channel. So, go check out some of my other videos. On that note, I'm signing off. It's a bit dull and grey here, a bit windy. But I hope wherever you are, you're having a great, blessed day, a wonderful day, and keeping focused and motivated, and your spirits up and high. Yeah, and just keep moving forward. I'm talking about these things. I know it probably sounds, a lot of these things, what I'm talking about, happened many years ago, and it probably sounds like I need to move on, or like I haven't moved on. I have moved on, but I'm talking about my experiences to enlighten, other people, and to share. You may be going through similar things with other people or within your community, so you can understand and relate. That's what I'm talking about. On that note, I'm going to go now, and I'll see you in my next live or in my next video. Adios. Bye. And lastly, what I forgot to mention was that I'm not the only person that is saying this, but that dude who was in the music studio, who I was going to make some recordings with, who said he'd worked with Celine Dion and Beyonce, and he said the same thing as well, that Birmingham, in terms of the music scene, it's like 20 years behind everywhere else. The main commercial cities like California, New York, London, And I would agree with him, because another thing what I think I was finding was that in the creative industries, like with music, it's very polarised, where you have people who are into the reggae scene, or the black music scene, like reggae, soccer, and bashment, and dancehall, whatever. And then you got people who are just very much total opposite, into the grunge rock scene, like that grunge rock sound. And anything in between. I don't know, man. People's minds, they're just a bit closed. I think people's minds are very closed and narrow. Because as soon as I say jazz, I've heard some people's reaction was a bit like, oh, jazz. Not into jazz, are you? Like, jazz. You know, this type of thing. So, that was another thing I was finding. And not just with music, but also in the community theatre. And I would say that pertains to most of the art. Art is supposed to be about creativity and innovation. And this is my belief, my understanding is, if you're in those industries, you will get to a point where you'll come to the understanding that in terms of the artistic world, creativity and innovation actually means more of the same and maintaining the status quo. And that's another thing I think I was just finding, and what I'm finding right now actually in my life, that people's minds are very closed-minded. We're supposed to be becoming more what's the word? Not, more liberal, more expansive, more open to awareness of others and differences. But actually, as far as what I can see, what's going on in this world, it's becoming very much the opposite. It's becoming more closed-minded, more narrow, more... I'm not thinking of the right exact words right now, what I'm actually wanting to say. You know, and at the same time, I don't just want to use, like, I'm not trying to sound like intellectual, yeah, but it's just becoming more sort of... I've said what I have to say. So, yeah, I just wanted to also make that point. Oh, what kind of silly timer is that? Silly timer.